Sup, future shredlords? Welcome back. Death to the Fingers 2026, starting off with a bang. We got the guitar in our hands. Life is good once again. I hope you had a great holiday. I had an amazing Christmas. It was awesome. Just needed to take some time off. You probably thought I was dead. I don't remember getting any Christmas messages from you bastards. Whatever. We'll get into this lesson here. Essentially, you see me coming out of the gate. Now, I only played once before, which was a couple days ago, and I was like, wow, my fingers are sensitive, so I had to take a day off. And here we are, Thursday, starting off with lesson number 1, I guess you could say, of the road to recovery. Basically working a bunch of diatonic scale instruments. I've got the string skipping idea, using intervals, basically, from the classical method using G major as a scale, starting 3rd fret, low E string, right? From there, I'm now doing a sequence of dominant 7 arpeggios ascending. So I do G major 7, again, in the root position, starting from the D string. And then I move up to the next one, which would be A minor 7. Yeah, nails it. But then once I get into the Phrygian position, I'm like, I want to come out of this. Or I could keep going, of course, with a B minor 7, same arpeggio. Maybe I do that. But then afterwards, I duck out using a first inversion major triad. And that allows me to basically descend using, again, more 3 notes per string scale stuff, but just on one string now, down that low E string until I get to the Locrian / Ionian position and just sort of end it off. And you can hear that there's a break between these two things because I want to kind of, have it in 2 sections. So I start off with the scale idea, playing it in intervals, and then of course I move into some 4-string arpeggios. Again, sweeping, how you want to do that, it's up to you. You do mostly downstrokes for me, or upstrokes. Okay, right. 2026, really starting off good? I don't know. So you got that, of course, and then you see me mixing and matching a lot of these arpeggio shapes with like 3 notes on the high E string, 3 notes on the low E string, 3 notes anywhere where I can kind of sneak it in there. That's a great habit to get into. You don't have to do it, but you see me doing it. Obviously, it's, again, tying the idea of the arpeggio and the scale together. So it becomes like one cohesive piece of information. Now, at the end, you see me do a slower version of what I just played. Breaking each section down a little bit more in depth, but still playing it sort of freehand and whatnot. So again, notice me sort of moving through each one, see if you can identify them. You're like, okay, there's the scale, there's G major 7 as the arpeggio, 4 strings, then A minor 7, 4 strings, B minor 7, 4 strings. Oh, there's that 6-string first inversion major at the Phrygian position. Then he descends down using the scale. Okay, mint. From there, I'm basically using the 3 notes per string on the high E string in the Locrian position, and I'm jumping up again into Dorian now. And from the Dorian position, I'm now going to play a D7 arpeggio, right? The 5th degree of the G major scale I'm working in. And then I want to use a sympathetic arpeggio to sort of tie it together. So I'm like, why not F sharp minor 7 flat 5? Because D7 and F sharp minor, I almost got it out, F sharp minor 7 flat 5 are like peanut butter and jam, right? The 7th degree and the 5th degree of the scale that you're working in are going to be really, really important and complementary sort of like tension type instruments to move around with your solos and whatnot. So keep that in mind. Learning how to use them together can be incredibly useful. Of course, using diminished and minor together sounds amazing. Diminished and major sounds amazing. And of course, dominant 7 to major is also another really, really killer one. And from there, of course, I'm just ending with a sequence using G major 7 in the root position, of course, 3rd fret again, using groups of 4. Again, another sort of mixing and matching of the techniques. So you can see me starting off slow for me, I guess. Maybe you're like, okay, that's slow. Whatever, buddy, get out of here. But essentially, you kind of get the idea is I'm starting to take all of these diatonic elements, the classical method, but then apply the idea of using intervals. And then from the same position, I'm like, oh, look, I have this root inversion of the G major 7 arpeggio built off the D string, right, which would be the 5th fret. And I can just do like this little diagonal shape. Perfect. Oh, there's G. I can finish it off. And if I move up to the next one, well, I have these minor 7 diatonic arpeggios, A minor 7 and B minor 7, right in a sequence there, all at the Locrian position, top 3 notes, obviously. So that's obviously useful. And then you're like, oh, look, I'm in Phrygian. Why not just jump out of this minor 7 into a major 7 and sort of close out my idea? You see what I mean? I kind of start with major and then I dipsy doodle around using some tension, and then I come back to major again to sort of close off my idea. Then I open up the next one with more tension, of course, dominant 7 into diminish before closing the idea again with major 7. That is the practice, is hearing how these arpeggios resolve to each other, hearing how to add in the scale information to sort of smooth out the rough edges of these dominant 7 arpeggios like major 7, minor 7 flat 5, and dominant 7, of course, proper. So that right there is the big lesson. And of course, mixing and matching everything together, just playing a bunch of scales endlessly, bad idea. But playing scales with arpeggios and chords and the pentatonics and all the rest of that stuff, very, very good. Imagine you're doing a workout and all you ever did was push-ups. Well, that's obviously going to be pretty damn good. But if you started incorporating all these other moves that you can do with push-ups and stuff like that, you get the full body workout, I guess you could say. And that's exactly what you're trying to do right now. You're taking some simple music ideas and getting a full music exercise that'll just absolutely slay. Now, I did that at the slow speed because I doubt I could play it really, really fast. But if you were to speed that up, that would be a devastatingly badass lick in the sort of Frank Gambale style, and really, really fast. So, you know what I mean? If you really want to impress mom next Christmas, start working on stuff like that. So I'll leave it at that for the video. The first one, of course, in this next section here, you'll see me do the same exercise again, just slower, and sort of breaking these ideas down, identify each section, and then try to be like, okay, there's that G major 7. Figure it out for yourself. What are the notes of G major 7? G, B, D, F sharp. Okay, oh, that's where that comes from. Oh, the next one, if I move up here, that's an A minor 7. What inversion is that? This B minor 7. What inversion? This G major in the first inversion. What scale system does that overlay with respect to the modes? Do you see how I'm starting to make connections here? You'd be like, oh, Phrygian. That happens at the 3rd degree. That's the Phrygian position. Once you start doing stuff like that, I guarantee you your solos and your playing in general will go up massively. We'll see you on Tuesday. We'll shred it up some more, babies. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate every single one of you, of course. Welcome to the 2026 nightmare. See you in the next one.